What's up, everybody? This is Sancho West, and this is another VOD review of Zero Build's pro gameplay. And this one's coming from none other than Tfue Scope and Okis. And for those of you who don't know, this is from Twitch Rivals, where Tfue Squad came in first place after being down by 10 points into the final game. I casted the tournament alongside Monster D-Face, so thanks to Scope, we have an extra special look at behind the scenes and what went down. So we're going to go ahead and start the VOD review. Now, a couple of differences in this VOD review is that we don't have access to the battle map, but we have a lot of access to the special things that in a custom game, we would never have access to without Scope. So this replay file is different from the compete tab, because the compete tab you could access any game, but because this was Twitch Rivals, because it was a custom game, as you see in the feed, Nick A30 going against Edgy's trio out there in Tilted Towers. That was a very interesting thing. But here are what the benefits of what make Tfue, Scoped, and Okis so difficult in a set lobby. Now, I brought this up before in the previous VOD review, which is available now. Is that they are completely... no one's bothering them. Like, we could take a look at the mini map. There is literally not another squad here with them. They have this powerful command cavern to themselves. Normally in other set lobbies, like we saw in the Women's of the E Arena, which we did a VOD review as well, is that this would be split by either 2 or 3 teams. We had 3 teams landing here in the Women's of the E Arena. So far, the kind of like the respect of Tfue, Scope, and Okis goes far and wide. So, as you can see, they're just going to vibe out and loot with no problems. When they drop a 55-point game, let me just bring up this free cam here. When they drop a 55-point game, they did that because the zone pulled over into Command Cavern. Command Cavern, just look at the different amounts of mobility you have. You have the fans, you have the siege cannons, and more importantly, the biggest highlight to this thing, let's just increase the drone camera, is this guy right here, the scanner. The scanner allows anything to be, it scans throughout the entire top to bottom of Command Cavern, and so if anytime they're getting pushed or anytime they struggle, now, most likely, nothing's happening this game from what I remember, so we're going to go ahead and increase the speed of it, and you could just see that they have all the time in the world to deal with the, of course, the NPCs, all the time in the world to walk away with anything. One thing I want to point out is the replay client is missing their inventory, but I could tell you it's stacked that we see Tfue use the scanner. It is very much stacked. And what I remember, I was talking to Upshaw, who was in this tournament as well. Upshaw talked about that he's landing down south into... he's landing in the Camp Cuddle, right? Down in this area, if you look at the bottom of your screen. Now, he was saying that he was always getting beamed from Tfue, Okis, and Scoped. So if Storm Surge was a factor, which for those who don't know, penalizes you for being passive, they're going to get those valuable storm tags. But in no builds, you don't have to worry about that unless Epic changes Storm Surge. But as you can see, coasting. Nothing special so far. Of course, we would break down if they were going into some kind of a fight, but you can just see that they're literally getting, I would say, 2.5 POIs, because that's how stacked his Command Cavern is. And then, of course, you have the actual thing. But let's go ahead and get into the juice on the matter, right? We're just on it's like this VOD review is like an onion, right? It has a lot of layers. So let's go ahead and fast forward into a little bit here. And now the boys are out and about, and this was a moment from what I remember. Tfue was worried that there was going to be other people on the outside. There is some people hanging around. You see Cease as well. Noah W plays, has made an appearance, and now they're going to go ahead and rotate out. First zone gets revealed here, and basically, for those who don't know, this is the replay area. This is what I have access to. First zone's revealed, as you can see, and it is a central south zone where Tilted Towers is in the heart of it. It's a very important thing. Now, Tfue in Games 5, what he's been doing is using the super bounce to get to the weak side. Now, I want to know in my future VODs, I want to plant this seed, is worth playing dead side, which for those who don't know, is the weak side where less traffic is, as Noah W plays is getting beamed here. Is weak side worth it? And there's, you see the scanner here. Now he's going to double check if anybody's nearby. and Noah W is in trouble. Is weak side worth it in zero builds? Or is it worth just going into your wedge? You know what I mean? Right now, let me zoom in here. This is their wedge. And I've said this before in VOD reviews. You got to remember this is a slice of pie. Now, for some reason, Tfue does not like going through his slice of pie in the final games. He likes going the weak side. So when I remember this game, he goes all the way down south towards Greasy. So let's just go ahead and continue playing that. But as you can see, just so much sightlines advantage. Okis with the anvil rocket going to work. You're not going to get away for free. And literally that knock just happened in a blaze. You're not going to be able to walk away for free out of that. As you see, unfortunately, Nick at 30 replays go down to Coop and Punisher. But you see right now, Ranger, the most crowns in the world, goes down. They got sightlines into the fortress. It's just amazing how powerful Command Cavern is with sightlines. So they go ahead, they push everybody off, they clear out their little rotational wedge, and now they get the signal, all right, time to rotate out. This right here, and I will say this until I'm blue in the face, this right here, once it's gone, and I've seen it in the women's of the E arena, if they get rid of this little super bounce play, it will mess up so many things for Tfue. It messed up ALIXXA in the women's of the E arena run, and it messed up Tfue if it wasn't available. But now that this is available, they're going to go ahead and take it. I'll go back to full speed here. But this right here, once Epic takes it away, we will see what will happen to them into the future. Just check this out. Easy peasy super bounce. And we're going to look at the mini-map. Look how far they go on the super bounce. They're going high into the sky. Boom. It's so OP. It's so OP. But look at this rotate. Tfue does start getting tagged a little bit, so it slows him down. He got tagged, as you can see, his HP. And he goes for a hill on edge. Actually, that's Upshaw. Upshaw down in Camp Cuddle returning some receipts. Causing them to plant. Of course, they're going to try to find a bush. Return fire into the structure. Out goes an anvil rocket. Not over-committing into this engagement. From here, Okis just sends like a blaze of rockets. Like he just sends an... It happens, okay? Anvil rockets are tough things to deal with. From here, Okis and Scope, they just send in all the anvil rockets. And you could just see, like, poor Upshaw, right? This is what they have to deal with on this end. Can't get away. Trying to deal with the pressure. Just being hammered. Literally hammered down like a nail into this point of view. And it's not easy dealing with it, you know? Let's look at it. This onslaught. It was just over and over and over. Really no one else around them. They use cow catchers very well. They're getting shot from a different angle, which is shooting out the cow catcher. And see the other team out in this distance. Now they're getting return fire with the anvil rocket. Gonna send big beams. How many rockets do these guys have? This is actually Clicks. Clicks is sitting over here with this angle. They get discouraged. They move down. Let's go back up to the boys here. They got a nice little standoff here, right? Now Zone 2 is revealed. I would say a majority of the teams struggle with this transition from Zone 1 to Zone 2. Luckily, they're going to pull. I think they pull again. But you're going to see what happens very soon when things go south. So Upshaw, in a world of hurt, they decide it's not worth peeking. They're making sure that everything's okay. Let's go ahead and fast forward a little bit more. I would say the highlight of this entire VOD review is going to be what they do when things don't go their way. So far, everything's going according to plan. Dukes take out threats. And okay, that was big. Clicks taken out. If you see in the feed, let's go back to it. I think they may be outside of render. So in the feed, Dukes and Threats and Clicks take out first place, which was Arkham and Epic Whale. And Reet, they take out Arkham and Epic Whale, leaving Reet by himself. Reet made a big clutch as a solo to make this interesting. Tfue picks up the truck for a vehicle rotate, and the boys are trying to find it. Well, that car got obliterated by Upshaw. Now, Upshaw is in a world of pain now. Look at the situation that Upshaw is in. I was watching this in the stream. I was like, what are you going to do, brother? You're literally in the basement. Rotate comes out, and you're just sitting down below. Just to let you know, VOD review fans and live chat right now on the stream, you will get used to watching things at 4 times speed. When it comes to VOD reviewing, I promise you. It's like there's not really much going on. Now, the zone has been revealed. This is Zone 2, right? Zone 2, like I said, is the tough one. Zone 2 to 3 is the majority of one where a lot of people go down. Zone 1 and 2, if you get a tough max pull for Zone 1, you have a tough rotate. But it is Zone 2 to 3, this transition, as you can see, a lot to cover for Tfue, Okis, and Scope. And they already changed, once again, to use the word, this rotational wedge, the thing that they have to clear out. So right now, they can't clear out Upshaw, right? The red arrows that you see on your screen. They can't clear that out because they're a problem. So instead, they're going to say, okay, we can't clear out this wedge. Let's find another wedge. And you're going to see what happens when you do that. Because when you clear out, you go to a different wedge, you have no information, you don't know who's there, and you don't know what you're going up against. So the boys decide to go towards Greasy Grove, trying to find another chill spot. And look already, look at the minimap. 2 different trios there. 3 different trios. 3 different trios are on this rotation. And this is the thing that I've been noticing is so many players are now more intelligent and tactical when it comes to rotating not only in builds and no builds in pubs and arena, F and CS, that we're seeing the weak side rotate becoming the most traffic jam rotation. So if you could think about it, if Tfue just decided to push into his wedge, he would know that there's only 1 trio to deal with. But now because he went to this unknown wedge, he's dealing with 3. Cowcatcher goes out. Let's slow down the action here. Go back to real time. Cowcatcher goes down, and you're just seeing without the inventory hold of Command Cavern, they would have not been able to have this many Cowcatchers. Tfue breaks the line of sight. This is when I thought, oh no, the run's over. Tfue separated. Okis going down into the building. Scope joining along Okis. Tfue separated. Does have a different angle on this team, which gives them a couple more options here. Luckily, they get another truck, and they get out of that situation. So already, they're in a truck. They're making lots of sound. And the lobby is now focused on this truck. Not good. And Tfue makes a call. This right here, I think, wins in the tournament. Understanding Zone 3 doesn't hurt a lot. Understanding that already the lobby's focused on them. You got Headshot Chicks Trio. ALIXXA Trio's there as well. You have Dubs and Mega Nate Hill on this upper wedge. And they decide, let's tank Zone. This is great. Tanking Zone in Zero Builds, right now, it doesn't hurt this much. I think Epic may change the values of Storm Surge damage, but right now it's literally ticking like for... It's ticking for 2. And that is fine to deal with. When I remember, their inventory is just chug splashes galore. When they get to the rift over here, they're going to have a bunch of medkits that they wanted to take the time, a lot of meat. But this call right here opens up so much because they're heading towards a rift. And this rift changes the rotation for them. Mind you, remember, they have a 10-point deficit to erase. Epic Whale, Reet, and Arkham in first place. They are in the lead by 10. So Reet is still alive. They need to get elims to catch up. Drop back into the rift. Luckily, there's one on the ground. They take this rift. Now, here is on the broadcast. We're watching the broadcast. We're looking at this rotation, and I'm holding my breath because from what we know in Zero Builds, you get beamed out of the sky. And I was wondering, where did they land? Here they're coming. Scope says, we should land in a tree. Let's land in a tree. And Monster and I go like, that's a pretty great idea. At the same time, now you're seeing this wedge. Everyone was there a second ago, right? You had ALIXXA there. You had Nate Hill. You had Headshot. They cleared out. And because that team doesn't just walk in to the wedge and instead they fan out and around, it gives Tfue, Okis, and Scope a clear landing and a clear glide. These trees that you see right in front of them break so many sight lines for this trio as well. A lot of luck still goes into Fortnite, and it's what you do with your luck that changes your fate. Prospering's down below, as you can see in this. This guy's right now 3rd place, trying to make trying to catch him up. And just see, like I told you, weak side, so chaotic, so many trios here fighting. And just look at where they land. They land right here. They do get tagged, and they find the perfect little dip to chill in. Look at the sight lines. No one can see these boys. No one could see them. Let me just pull this score. There's no one back here. Everybody's in front of them, and this natural terrain breaks that. You would say, well, maybe they blimp. There's no one on the blimp. No one's holding it down, and they're on the blimp. They're looking down into it. Zone 3 and 4 is more the in-game. A lot of real estate to play, and as you can see, a lot of people are fighting their own battles on edge. It's like I just can't say like how lucky enough they were. Let me turn on player cards. Do I have player cards on? Yeah, there we go. Let's turn that on. Perfect for in-game, right? Okay. All right. Let's pull back into the gameplay. So now you're seeing all the trios hanging around, right? Anvil Rocket, great use by Okis. Okis, I would say, is one of those utility players. This is 3rd place right now in shambles. Tfue picks up this knock. Shadows makes a critical mistake of going up in the air with a shockwave. Went a little too high. You want to go as horizontal as possible. Tfue gets some big tags on ALIXXA's trio, who are just sticking their head out. Okis comes in with the rocket launcher. And so what this trio is doing is they're not getting tunnel vision. They're not focusing on one team. They pester one team, they move to another. They shoot at one team, they say, okay, we got that. Let's just keep moving, keep shooting, keep creating pressure. Anvil rockets, it doesn't matter. Beams, they want to push everybody out of their rotational wedge. Anvil rocket come out, but this is what I'm talking about. You want to clear out your rotation. They clear out Duke, Threats, and Clicks with the Anvil rocket to destroy the cover. And as you can see, they're clearing out their behind them. That's what you want to do. Just make sure everybody's clear. I remember Tfue is calling out, we need to watch out for our flank. Make sure no one's behind us. That's what you see them. They're scouting out, making sure the blimp's okay. They're looking down into this ravine. They're pushing everything out, and they're getting so much value out of this hold because they have the natural terrain and they have all the sight lines, and the teams are so clashing down below each other. Crypt eliminated. ALIXXA now all by yourself as a solo gets pushed into more of the fight. Clicks is eventually going to be found out here as you see the beams goes through from Scope. Like there's not much you can do if you're getting double sprayed at all. Clicks goes down. Now there's the team on the tail. They're shooting shots at them. It's like whoever is available, they're making sure they're getting a piece. Tfue gets a nice refresh, gets some valuable heals, some valuable shield, cow catchers. And Monster and I, when we were casting, we were noticing that teams in this game mode, in Zero Builds, they have so much momentum to push forward. Like the amount of momentum you get from eliminating teams, getting shockwaves, getting cow catchers, you just keep, coming back at full force. The overshield is the key factor of that. Okay, now zone's finally closing, and Tfue and Scope literally cleared out this wedge. Now, do you remember all these people that were here that they were fighting? They held them all out. Now, Colazzo's team, who was on this other side of the north, this pink arrows, made their rotation in. Okis, Scope, and Tfue now have to deal with this and clear out this wedge. Okis and Scope have the advantage. They see that this team's in a vehicle, and they just beam it out. The roller can't get away. Colossal's getting beamed. Shockwave sending everybody all over the place. And they just solve that quickly. Like, if Colossal's team just got out sooner, maybe they survive. Okis now is going to pick on Bonsai Bros. Use the anvil to lock into that. Let's just take a look at what's happening now in the overall picture in their position. I'm going to slow down the gameplay to half speed. Scope pushing Day Jumper out of that, clearing out that rotation. Okis picking on this rotation. Prospering, third place solo, now in a world of pain all by himself. Where is Tfue? Tfue watching the backside, making sure no one's pushing and flanking them. This team works well together. They find Prospering. Okis beams that. Scope, from what I remember, clean that up. Let me go back into the replay just a smidge. Just a scotch. Like, Prospering had a chance here to make a comeback, to hold on, but he lost his team early on, as you saw from Tfue's hands. See, Tfue's calling out, hey man, there's people on this wedge. We need to push them out. So they're going to go ahead and push out Day and Jumper. Day, who was fragging the entire game, had like 13 elims total. Call out for Prospering. Team shot. Boom. Obliterated. Gone. Remember, before all this, they had 1 elimination before they hit the rift. Now they have 9. Okay? So they have 9, and they have to make up a 10-point deficit. Reet, as the solo, has been getting placement points. So right now, Reet and Tfue are still with that 10-point deficit, but now it's been shrunk down to like 1-ish, like 1.5 or 1-2, I don't know, because Reet hasn't picked up elims, but you'll see Reet clutches up here for a moment. All right, we have Headshot Chick, we have Day, we have Bonsai still in this fight. Great use of the cow catchers. You have to be careful though. You could throw cow catchers too close together and create where you break it. Vanessa takes out one of the Bonsai Bros. Okis coming in with the hammer. Bonsai cannot survive that because eventually you stick your head out for a second, dude. Tfue's just gonna knock it clean off. Gonna destroy it, make it weak. The poor guy. Poor guy. Okis takes them out. Muzz takes out a Headshot Chick. Now Tfue understands that he needs to get ahead of this ridge, because now they understand that the blimp is gone. The blimp's no longer a factor. And because of that, whoever was on the blimp came down. And because of that, the new high ground is this ridge. So all they have to do is clear out this ridge and they win. And you're going to see why that makes a thing. One thing I noticed though, no one used these. I don't know why. They should have definitely used these bad boys, because they give you 5 shield and they create so many different angles. You could bounce, you could take fall damage. It was negate all that. I don't understand. But maybe they'll do it next week. Valuable resource. Tfue sets up another wall here with the cow catcher on edge. At this point, you want to clear out your rotational wedge, your pie, clear that out, and then stand on the edge. You don't need to go any further. You don't need to go center. At Tfue parked in center, it doesn't make any sense because the high ground's up here. High ground's still king. And at this point, it's like, you see ahead, click it. Now, I want to point this out. So that's what Tfue is doing up there. Remember, first place in the Twitch Rivals is Reet. No elims here, and we're going to focus on Reet for a second. Goes in, clears out Coop. 1 point. So he's going to make up the difference that Tfue has made up to. Goes back to recover here. Finds a med kit. And this man just beams. Reet, one of the best players in the world. In the, I believe from West. And look at how many players are in there. Day Jumper. You have Vanessa's trio. And you're thinking, yeah, this is going to be this, like, there's no way. But Reet activates. Takes out Kwanti. Takes out Jumper. Takes out Bravo. Obliterated. I think he takes out Vanessa too. Now Tfue finally sees him, and that was big because these 3 elims at this point closes the gap and puts Reet in first place. But as you can see, the boys have sights on him. They recognize the outfit. Scope goes up. They see Vanessa. They're going to clean that up. Reet now is down below. Gets the anvil rocket. Is going to shockwave to a better position. Gets tracked. Tfue picked up Vanessa. Boom. And that's it. That's all she wrote. This hold was just too strong. Last player, which is the member of the Bonsai's team, by the way, vibing out, securing second place, trying to hide it out, and they definitely find him here. I mean, what are you going to do, right? You're going to definitely try to hold on. Spunky gets obliterated. That goes to Okis, and there you have it, folks. It's just just an incredible comeback, but it still got very close. I mean, you could see it that if it wasn't for Reet, they only won this entire game by 4 points. By 4 points was the only victory for this team. But hey, if you enjoyed this VOD review, be sure to like, share, subscribe for more Zero Build VOD reviews. Of course, I appreciate the love. Keep me in your feed. Yeah.